The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Ariel Zohar lived in a kibbutz near Oz, at the border of Gaza. 12-year-old kid, very athletic, well fit. So what did he do every morning, early in the morning? He went for a run. He went for a long, good run. And Simchas Torah in the morning was no different. He went for his run. So he left his house very early in the morning, left the kibbutz and went on a run. Moments later, the terrorists came in. They went into his home. They murdered his father, whose name is Yaniv Zohar. They murdered his mother, whose name is Yasmin. And they murdered both of his sisters, Tchelet and Keshet. He wasn't home. So he's the only one to survive from his entire family. Father and mother and both siblings were gunned down that morning of October 7th. By the time he came back, he already saw what's going on, and he was saved. This was a few weeks before his bar mitzvah. He has a surviving grandfather who's 90 years old, who's a Holocaust survivor. So that's where he went to, his grandparents. So one of the people working in Zaka, he's in a special unit of Zaka, went over to him and said, "Is there anything I can do for you?" He said, "Yeah, my father prepared tefillin for me for my bar mitzvah. And it's in the house. It's the only thing I'll have for my father. Can you get me those tefillin?" Now, this was right after Simchas Torah. They were not allowing anybody to come back to those kibbutzim because they were under fire. They were still sending rockets and there were terrorists roaming. So they said, you can't go here. This is completely not allowed anybody to enter. But Zaka pleaded, and this is a guy from a special unit, so the commander said, I give you 6 minutes in the house. Shesh dakot. 6 minutes. Now the house was burned down. They burned down the houses. So he comes into the house, and he shared the story on a video. He came into the house, it's all burnt. And he has 6 minutes, and he's running, and he finds the tefillin with Ariel's name. He takes it out, his friend takes out some other stuff just to give him like an album of pictures or whatever they could find, that may be valuable. And they ran out. This was all under tremendous security. As they were in the house, as they were coming out of the house, they had to have this security from the army. And this man from Zaka brought back the tefillin to Ariel. And he said, this man from Zaka said, I didn't cry all these days because I couldn't. I just had to work. But at that moment, he just let it all go. And he was sobbing with Ariel. And the grandfather, who's 90 years old, turns to his grandson and to this person from Zaka. He says, listen, I lost both of my parents in the Holocaust. I was 14. I didn't think I'll have a day like this where I'll see such death here, but I also see a grandson. And I built a family, and the entire extended family, in our homeland. So he tells Ariel, your future is also going to be exceptionally bright. This Hanukkah was his bar mitzvah. So who came to the bar mitzvah? Rabbi Lau. Rabbi Lau is the former chief rabbi of Israel. Rabbi Lau was born in 1938 or 1939. So he's, I think, 86 years old. Larichas Yamim V'Shanim Tovos. Rabbi Lau spoke. Rabbi Lau lost his family in the Holocaust in Treblinka. So Rabbi Lau says to Ariel, he says, my bar mitzvah was in 1950. 1950. He was born in 1937. My father wasn't there. My mother wasn't there. Most of my siblings were gone. Who was there? My uncle and my aunt, like you. Your uncle and your aunt, and you have a grandfather. And Rabbi Lau said that, the tragedy is very, very profound. But just know that whatever you ever need, I'm here for you. I had the same bar mitzvah like you. And just know how many people love you. And the whole nation loves you. And the whole country loves you. And he took a picture with him putting on the tefillin of his father. And that tefillin he got from his grandfather, who was the Holocaust survivor. And it was just incredibly painful and incredibly moving. And Rabbi Lau told him, how he started from scratch. He had nothing. And he became the chief rabbi of Israel. And his father told him, before he went to the gas chambers, his father told him that we are 38 generations of Rabbanim. 38 generations. Father, back to the Tosfos Yom Tov. And his father he was a little kid, but his father told his older brother, Naphtali, who was 15, if you survive and his son survives, make sure he could continue. He said, I became the chief rabbi of Israel. And he told his son, this boy, Ariel, I will always be here for you. Like, consider me a brother. You're 13, 86, but consider me a brother. And they hugged and they embraced. It was such moments where you see, pain in all of its depth, which is really unfathomable. And it's at that moment you also see the power, the soul of people.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. stories to inspire.org.